Hey y'all, and welcome back to the 3-Minute Marketer. Today, we're going to be talking about analytics, but specifically what to do when those analytics are not showing positive results. In a recent video, Carly took you through the importance of analyzing website analytics. In that video, she took you through step-by-step, piece-by-piece, which pieces of data to pay attention to and how to interpret those pieces of data. If you'd like to see that video, we're linking it here in the description below. So you've got your content strategy going and you're doing what you're supposed to do. You're pulling those analytics once a quarter and you're taking a look, and the data that you're seeing isn't really positive. What do you do? And what does that look like? What we've seen in our experience is sometimes we see a very high level of engagement, meaning people are opening emails, they're clicking on social media posts, but they're not opening the actual content. So what do you do? If you are seeing a high level of engagement, meaning your emails are being opened and your social media is being clicked on, but you're not seeing a high level of consumption of the content. So people aren't listening to the podcast, or people are not clicking on the commentary that you wrote, or perhaps people aren't watching the webinar that you produced. The assumption we have to make is that people just aren't that interested in your content. Now, we know that it's going to take at least a year for you to see any kind of traction with any marketing strategy. So you should really give yourself a year before you entirely shift a strategy one way or another. But what we can assume when we see low metrics on your content is that people aren't interested in the content topics. And the first thing we have to ask ourselves is this based on my ideal client profile? Is this content based on the challenges, the concerns, and the frequently asked questions, and the conversations that I'm having every day with my clients? And really, that is what is at the heart of the success or the failure of any content strategy. If you like these videos, please comment below, ask your questions. We're happy to answer any questions that you have. So how do you shift? So let's take an example of a case that we've seen. We see a podcast and we start off with a bang. We have very strong engagement rates. We have very strong listening rates. People are downloading the podcast. The podcast is executed and published at regular intervals. Production quality is high. Distribution is across all digital channels, but we're seeing a decline in people listening to the podcast, and it's going lower and lower and lower. So we have to assume people are not interested in those topics. And when we look at the podcast content, we can see that perhaps we're not basing the content on what our clients want to talk about. And this is very important. It's very easy for us to make a shift. We can start to identify, okay, what are the questions that we're hearing in the conversations we're having every single day? We make a list and we schedule the content from that list of frequently asked questions. What are some other red flags that you could see in the data that you might need to address? For one thing, if you have a low open rate. If you have a low open rate, that usually means to us that your email list is not viable. But what if you have a high open rate but a low click rate? That usually indicates people are not that interested in your content. Other analytics that we pay attention to, the website traffic. If you have a high bounce rate, it probably means that people who are coming to your website don't care about what you have to say, or that your website's a little janky. If your content is video-based, and you can see people are clicking and going to the videos, but not listening very long, it means, again, they're not that interested in the content. Do you need help reading your analytics and gauging the success of the marketing efforts that you're doing right now? Please don't hesitate. Give us a call anytime. We're a resource to you.